It happened 50 years ago this week, and at first astronomers in Cambridge thought they'd picked up a message from aliens. In a small room at the Mullard Space Observatory at Lord's Bridge, just outside Cambridge, young graduate student Jocelyn Bell picked up a printout from an array of radio telescopes pointed at the sky, and spotted something strange. Recorded on the paper was a series of radio pulses, so regular a series that when they saw them, Jocelyn's supervisors at Cambridge University at first dubbed them the LGM signals, little green men signals. A printout machine in use at the Mullard Observatory in 1961, but after months of study, her professors Anthony Hewish and Martin Ryle concluded the messages were coming from a previously unknown kind of celestial object, a rapidly rotating neutron star, emitting pulses of radio waves at a rate of up to 1,000 a second. The discovery in November 1967 was one of the major astronomical breakthroughs of the 20th century, dramatically increasing scientists' understanding of the universe. And a few years later, it earned a Nobel Prize not for Jocelyn, but for Professor Ryle and Professor Hewish, who was her supervisor on her PhD thesis. The pioneering Mullard Observatory had been founded under Professor Ryle's leadership in 1957, and consisted of a row of huge radio telescopes next to the old Cambridge-Bedford railway line. Jocelyn Bell Burnell, pictured in 2002 image IDPS University of Bath, interviewed about the discovery of the stars called pulsars. Jocelyn said, "My eureka moment was in the dead of night, the early hours of the morning, on a cold night, and my feet were so cold, they were aching. And when the result poured out of the charts, you just forget all that. You realize instantly how significant this is. What it is you've really landed on, and it's great." Jocelyn, now Jocelyn Bell Burnell, and a professor in her own right, as well as a Dave, has been talking again this week about the groundbreaking revelation half a century ago. One of the control rooms at the observatory speaking today, Wednesday, November 29th on BBC Radio 4. She said she bore no ill will about the fact she hadn't got the Nobel Prize. She said, "I was a student, and at the time the Nobel Prize Committee didn't recognize students' work. Students were just part of the dross. Asteroid watchers predict the exact date for the end of the world, but I've done extremely well out of it. If you get a Nobel Prize, no one gives you anything ever again, because they feel they can't match that, whereas if you don't get a Nobel Prize, you still get everything that moves. It's a party all year." Now in her early 70s, Jocelyn went on to teach at the University of Southampton before becoming a professor at University College London, and then working at the Royal Observatory in Edinburgh. You can keep up to date with all the latest news in and around Cambridge by downloading our free app. It is available for the iPhone and iPad from Apple's App Store, or the Android version can be downloaded from Google Play.